There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
So throughout these remote starter security and telematics sessions, we've done our very best here at CMA Networks to bring you all the brands and update you on what the offering is this season. On today's show, we've come up to a very interesting, what I'll call a 1-2 combo being offered by Automobility, and a very reliable, proven platform and flexible one at that in Polarstart. And we're going to pair it with some technology known as Smart Control. And Phil Camirand's in the studio with us today to tell us all about it. This is CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM, Polarstart, and Smart Control. And it starts now. Hey, everybody, and thanks again for tuning in to this Friday edition of CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. As per usual, I'm your host, Ben Wu, and on today's show, we have a special guest representing the Automobility Distribution Group. Now, I don't think it's a secret. Automob is pretty darn serious when it comes to offering a ton of solutions when it comes to the remote starter security and telematics market. And we've had the opportunity to have Phil Camirand on. He was on earlier. We talked about iDataStart and all the great stuff going on over there. Then he came on and talked to us about some My Car, My Star features. There's a little bit of blend of telematics involved. And today we've come up with a 1-2 combination that I know he's pretty excited to talk about, which is going to provide dealers with a solid platform from a remote start and upgradable to security solution, and pairing that with some technology that a lot of customers are looking for. And that, of course, is a cell-based application type interface. So without further ado, let's go ahead and invite our guest to the studio, Mr. Phil Camirand, the man, the myth, the legend, the product specialist over at Automob. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, I'm having a good time going through these remote start and security type sessions because it reminds me how far this has come. Like, I'm old school. I don't think I think everybody knows. You know, I started installing way back in the day, and to see and hear guys like you, Phil, talk about the technology now. You know, with the cloning and that new hub that there's just so much, and the T harnesses, which makes it just brilliant. I think it's a wonderful time to get into this business, in fact, and no better example than what we're going to be talking about today. So I mentioned kind of a 1-2 prong approach that we're going to be talking about today. It's two products that you've cleverly matched together to provide a complete solution to not only dealers, but also to consumers. And really, it's driven by the fact that the mobile device, this little thing here, everybody has one. Everybody's used to doing everything in their, whether it's dating or banking. That's what I say. It all goes down right here. So why not remote start? And I'll let you take it from there.
Yes, sir. It is, like you said, very exciting. Tons of different options available here at Automobility. Like you said, in the couple of past sessions, we talked about iDataStart, which is an amazing product in itself. But not everybody wants to sell the same brand. This is why us at Automobility, we carry a couple different brands. So we talked about iDataStart. We also have Code Alarm. And in today's session, we will be talking about Polarstart. So Polarstart is a name that is probably very familiar.
I was just going to say, like, Polarstart has been around for a long time, Phil.
Oh, yeah. Polarstart has been around for a very long time. And the one thing that maybe people don't know about this is that the brand, the name, is a brand that belongs to Automobility.
Okay.
So over the past couple of years, we've used different types of product attached to Polarstart, way back in our days, it started with some AutoStart product, and then it evolved to what we have today. And today, the partner that we chose to complete our Polarstart line is none other than First Tech, who is the mother company to a very well-known and popular brand called CompuStar. So Polarstart is Automobility's brand, exclusive to us, but it is using CompuStar Brain harness and way of programming. And we have our specific transmitter that we chose that are only available for CompuStar.
Now,
For Polarstart. And in the second part of the session, we'll be talking about smart control, which is very, very different than everything else on the market. I do believe some of the guys here will find it very interesting and give it a try.
and to note, now, is this pairing of these two products, is it an exclusive pairing, or does smart control also work with other devices? Just to get that out of the way.
Well, you're going to have to wait till we get to that section to
look at
know
you.
that part, but I'll give you a hint.
Yeah, there you go. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Yeah, okay, gotcha. I'll tell you what. Why don't we set you up? I know you're brilliant with your presentations, and let's dive into Polarstart and smart control.
Oh, let's do that. So let me pull up my PowerPoint. Hopefully it works.
It works.
There we go. The reason why I'm saying that, we had some technical difficulties a little bit earlier on. Everything crashed, but we're back up and everything is
we're live.
working.
That's the beauty of live.
So like I did mention earlier on, Polarstart is a joint venture between First Tech, the manufacturer of CompuStar. If you want to make it a little bit bigger, Ben.
Absolutely. Full screen on you right now.
Shared. Awesome. So it's a joint venture between First Tech, who's the manufacturer for CompuStar, and Automobility. And sorry, seeing a bunch of pop up on my screen, easily distracted. So we partner with them, and they've made us two separate SKU. So we offer two different Polarstart product, which we'll be covering very, very shortly. Both of them have very distinctive function and capabilities, and we'll offer you guys, the techs, the shops, and the consumer out there, a different option to go with versus all the other remote starter brand. And this is very specific for us in Canada. So it's available here in Canada through Automobility. So now that we know who is behind Polarstart, how about we start talking about the product directly? So let me show you. The first product we'll be talking about is a product that is called a PRS13X. The Polarstart line always consists of a full kit, meaning you're going to get within that same box that you see above my head, a control module, all the necessary wiring. You're going to get your antenna and two remotes. Within the PRS13, we will be offering you two pre-programmed remotes that will offer you up to 1,500 feet of range. We'll take a closer look in a couple of seconds. I'll show you guys the product itself so you can judge the remote and how they look. The module that is part of the PRS13X is the CM900 by CompuStar or First Tech. So this is a control module that's been time proven. It's extremely reliable. It's extremely popular within us technicians. And it is a control module that will allow you to do pretty much every car on the market now, given that it is an automatic transmission. So PRS13X only works on automatic transmission vehicles. This module is blade ready. What's blade? I'm pretty sure everybody out there knows what it is, but I'll show you in a slide or two. It is compatible with all of your smartphone applications. So My Car, MyStart, and obviously Drone from the other company. You can also use the computer to flash, edit, and configure your brain. If you've done an iData start in the past, it's no different. You can plug it in, use the ADS USB or the brand new ADS hub, and you'll be able to edit certain of those features. You can also update the features with a proprietary device called the OP500, which is a little blue gizmo that looks like a multimeter that plugs into your antenna cable and will allow you to go directly into the menu and change all the different options. Very handy tool to have. Another key feature about the Polarstart line, it is field updatable. So if a bug is discovered, and we all know that bugs never happens in product, right? That's electronics. So if or when it happens, you can always update the brain at the shop, so no need to send it back for us to do it. So it's very, very easy. So you know what? Let me show you guys the product as I do have it here. I will change camera angle so you guys can see. If I can change the camera angle, and looks like my camera angle doesn't want to work. Here we go. So we have the Polarstart box, as you see, is very distinctive. You got your range explanation right there, part number, both French and English, and it is required. The box looks very, very good. So let's take a look inside. First thing we're going to see inside is the control module. And the good thing about this control module is what we call a linear design. What do I mean by that? If you guys remember the iDataStart, you have connectors all around it. On this brain, most of the popular connectors will be up front. So when you make your connections, everything will be in one direction. So it makes it easier. Size-wise, if I give you guys a comparison, this is an iPhone 12. So you guys can see it is extremely small. So it will be very easy to install underneath the dash. If we flip this on the other side, we will see a little reminder of the wiring schematic. No need to take a look there. Part of the box, you will see that we do offer the installation schematic, but let's take a closer look at what else is in this box. You will get all the required wiring, and you will get antenna, transmitter, and antenna cable. So antenna cable, straightforward, looks very similar to your antenna cable that you get on the iDataStart. The antenna is a little bit different, but it's extremely small, so you can install it vertically or horizontally. Doesn't make much difference. Transmitter, very nice looking transmitter. They feel solid in your hand. They feel like super good quality. The buttons are rubberized, and as you can see, we got some LEDs on both sides, which will make it very easy for the user to see when he presses the button. So we were talking about 1,500 feet of range. This is AM technology, so it's up to 1,500 feet of range. The range is extremely good on this. This is extremely reliable. And one thing that I like about these Polarstart remote is that they are water resistant and they are very, very durable. So they don't break very easy. They're tough. They feel good. They're not too big. So if you have your keychain, it won't look like you have something that's ginormous with all your keys. It is extremely nice. What else do we have in the box? Well, we have our good friend here, the hood pin, right? I think most technicians out there forgot that we have to install those nowadays. A reason being that most of the newer vehicles do come with a factory hood pin install, but if the case that your car you're working with doesn't have a factory one, we supply one, so you can install it. And what else is in the box? Another cable. And oh my God, look at that. Some documentation, some stickers, and the one part that nobody ever reads, which is the wiring diagram, right? They made it a nice format where it's easy to read if you look at it the right way. It's super straightforward. So you get it both English and you have it in French. It is extremely straightforward. All the information is there, and you'll be able to proceed with the installation with ease. So a couple of things about this brain. Like I was mentioning before, you have a little rundown of the wiring diagram here. If you're not sure, if you don't have your installed document, or if you did like me, you tossed it in the garbage before installing the product because you thought you would remember everything, but you don't. So you have a little reminder of the wiring diagram. If we flip it on this side, we have a little trap door here, and we have a jumper that you can move selection. This jumper is to control the programmable relay here, which can be ignition, accessory, or starter. So super easy for those vehicles that require multiple ignition or accessory or starter. And the key part is in the back. Like I mentioned, this is a complete kit. It does come with your remote, your antenna cable, and all the wiring. The only thing that you will need to pair with this will be your external interface, your bypass. If you've done remote start in the past 10 years, you probably all know that all of the newer cars will require some sort of an interface to control the transponder and other securities in the car, and will also give you added benefits such as door locks and tach and convenience feature and so on. So the good thing about this brain, the CM900, is that it is extremely versatile. We do have two RS-232 port, which will allow you to connect your trusted ALCA. I think everybody knows what an ALCA is. If not, I will open one up for you and we'll show. It's going to take me a second or two because I didn't prep this. They do make the sticker very sticky. So, all right, let me show you. So this would be the interface, and you would connect that to your remote starter with the wiring. Now, if you've been doing remote starter for a long time, you're probably saying, yeah, Phil, I remember doing this a long time ago where the interface was separate. This is a key feature of the Polarstart line, is that both model that we are selling, the PRS13 and the X and the PRS17, are blade capable. What is a blade? Well, if you look in the back, we have a little trap door here that you can open. And if we take a look inside, it looks like a slot with some connectors here. This is where you will insert your interface. ALCA doesn't fit there because there's no connectors for it, but the guys at ADS are making a product called the Blade. So we have a Blade TV and a Blade AL. And the Blade AL, what it is essentially the exact same thing as an ALCA. It's just the form factor that's a little bit different. So for us technicians, when we do the installation, instead of having an external module that we would most of the time tape on top of this and run our wires, we can use the internal blade. So you get your blade, you stick it in, and you push it all the way to the end. I didn't push it all the way to the end. It's just to give you guys an explanation. We do have a programming button here. We have a display LED. And once you got your interface docked in, you will get the connectors for your blade will be on this right here. So this will make the installation extremely easy, extremely fast, and very easy to make your connection. So in better terms, this was right before the time when the iData Start and the other all-integrated remote starter came out. This was what was in between that phase. So we went from just regular remote start, external bypass, and now we have an integrated remote starter bypass because you can dock in the blade. So the good thing about this is you can choose to use a Blade AL or a Blade TB. If you're working on a vehicle where the transponder bypass is only required, everything else is done manually, then you can spend a little bit less money getting the Blade TB, which will take every transponder bypass, and everything else will be wired in manually. So this should be very straightforward. Let me move some stuff out of the way. And we'll go back to my PowerPoint presentation. So I'm assuming we don't have too many questions on this. It's a very good platform. It's been out there for a very long time. It's extremely reliable. The remote feels very, very good in your hand, and it's extremely durable. One of the things that I like about the PRS13 is that it is also very flexible. What do I mean by that? Usually, or typically, when we do remote starts, we do lock unlock, start stop, trunk, and maybe something else. If you want to control other stuff in the car, this brain will offer you 6 programmable output channels that will allow you to trigger or control a wide variety of stuff that you wanted to do in the car. So if you wanted to do a rear defrost, or if you wanted to do, motorization because you're doing a stereo at the same time, the sky's the limit. This is a very flexible product that is very, very well liked by technicians because of exactly that. You can customize it to whatever you want. All right, now let's move on. Usually at this point, people say, I love this is great, but there's still some manual transmission vehicles out there. There's not many, but we still get a couple of requests from our customers about manual transmission. In the lineup that we offer with iDataLink, it is not manual transmission compatible. The PRS-13X is also not manual transmission compatible. This is why we brought in a second module for the Polarstart line called the PRS-17. The PRS-17 is just like the PRS-13X. It is a kit that will contain everything that you need with the exception of the interface. But you probably guessed it, the module, the control module that's part of the PRS-17 is called a Cmx, and this one is manual transmission compatible. So if you want to do manual transmission vehicle, we do offer an option here at Automobility with our Polarstart with the PRS-17. So what's very different about the PRS-17? Let's take a look. Let me go to the overhead camera. There we go. We got the box here. Very clean looking packaging, both English and French, just like the PRS-16. PRS-13X. And if we open it up, the first thing that we see here is the brain itself. We will be talking about the brain in a couple of seconds. First, I want to show you guys the transmitters and the antenna. So our transmitters are very different than the one that we had on the PRS-13X. They are a little bit bigger. They have a very nice fit and finish. They feel very good. The part that attached to your keychain is extremely durable, not very easy to break. They have some weight to it, so they feel good. And it is, both of them are FM technology, one way, and will offer you up to 3,000 feet of range. So one way, FM technology, up to 3,000 feet of range, extremely reliable, extremely durable transmitters. They are fantastic, in my opinion, one of the sexiest remote out there, if I can use that word to describe a remote. The second part is our antenna. The antenna is a little bit bigger than the antenna that's part of the PRS-13X. This one is an FM antenna, so very simple. Same as the other one, you can install it on the windshield horizontally or vertically. Antenna cable is a little bit different. There's a little cover here that whenever you plug it in, it makes it for a clean look, as you guys can see. So very nice looking antenna. Let me remove this transmitter here. It also comes with the wiring in the box. There's another part here. There we go. And of course, installation documentation. I won't open it because we've seen one before. So now that we've seen both the remotes and the antenna, let's talk about the brain of the operation. Let's talk about this guy here. This is the new brain for Polarstart. It is also offered under the CompuStar line. This brain is called the Cmx Brain. The Cmx Brain is a brain that is the evolution of the 7200 brain, which was the older generation that probably most of the techs out there know. So what did they do? They made the Cmx easier, faster, and also smaller. I don't have a 7200 brain with me, but if I had to guesstimate, I would say that this is at least 20% smaller than the previous generation. And it is also a linear type of installation. So most of all the connectors that you will need to be using will be all in the same direction. So whenever you make your harnessing, everything comes out in one way. So it makes for a clean installation. If we take a look here, we do have some additional connectors here for your antenna, your telematics, and so on. In the back here, they do provide a little sticker for you to place in the door jamb boot that will give the consumer the serial number of the device. And obviously, we do have a reminder here of all the connectors and all the role of every wire and what they do. Now, we've mentioned that this brain is manual transmission compatible. It is. How do you select if it's automatic or manual? You guys remember the little trap door that we saw on the CM900? If we open this one up, we have our typical little loop here for automatic or manual. From factory, this brain is set in manual transmission mode. If you want to go automatic, you need to cut the loop. You push it back here, and you either put the cap back on or you slide in your interface or your blade. So just like the CM900, it is blade compatible. So take your blade and you can dock it in. Makes for a very clean install. Notice that I didn't push it all the way in, because if you ever try the blade, once it's in, it's hard to get out. It's extremely tight, but that's the way we like it, right? So you can remove it, and the automatic manual transmission loop right here will remain there, and it's hidden underneath the interface or underneath the little trap door here that will protect it. Couple of key difference with this versus the CM900 is, let me just go back to my computer here, is that they made it a lot faster. So all the specs are in front of you. But one of the good thing about this brain, this is actually something that's very interesting, is that this brain can be configured to operate one of three ways. So you, as an installer, when you get to install this product, you can use it as a regular standalone remote starter, which is the common thing that we would do. If the customer would also like to have an alarm on top of that, this brain can be configured as a combo, so a remote starter and security system. It does have input for a shock sensor, positive output for a Siren. It does have a plug-in for an LED, so you can have a full-on alarm system with everything in it. And if you prefer, you can still use this, but just to do either a keyless entry or a standalone alarm system without the remote starter features being turned on. So you get to decide how you want to use this product. So let's say your customer comes in, I just want a remote starter. Not a problem, Mr. Customer. We sell you a Polarstart, nice remote, great range, transmitter looks fantastic. Comes back 6 months down the road. You know what? I've been watching the news lately, and looks like everybody's trying to steal those catalytic converter. I don't know why to do that, but they want to do it. And I hear they're expensive. Can you add security to this? Well, of course you can. The only thing you need to do is you can purchase a separate kit, which we'll be covering in a slide or two, that will allow you to give your customer the Siren, a LED, a starter kill relay, and a accelerometer sensor / a tilt sensor, glass break sensor, and a dual stage shock sensor. So you can do all of that with just one brain. Another thing that's a little bit different about the CMX versus its predecessor, the 7200, is that instead of offering you a little jumper to move to select your programmable relay that's here for ignition access restart, everything is done through firmware. So you will need to connect to either the computer, idlink.com, plug in your WebLink hub, and you can customize your setting, or you can use the OP500, the handheld programmer tool, directly to the antenna port and make your change. So this is pretty handy. It works very good, and it's extremely versatile. Now, before we start talking about more spec, there's one thing I want to mention. We have been talking about manual transmission. The Cmx is 100% compatible with manual transmission, but right out of the box, on top of what you got in the box, you will need an interface if it's a vehicle that requires one. And to do manual transmission, you will absolutely require a device called an FTDAS. The FTDAS is a little sensor that has an accelerometer built in. I'm just trying to get one out of the package. And this little device, which I will show you a little bit clearer in the next slide, but this little device will detect if ever the car is moving when you are attempting to remote start it, and it will shut the system down because it does have a built-in accelerometer. Installation is extremely easy. It's just one cable that plugs into this device and then plugs back into your brain. You zip tie it somewhere underneath the car, and that's it. It is a mandatory accessory. It would bring a layer of protection to your customer, and it's peace of mind knowing that if for whatever reason something doesn't work well and you still manage to do the sequence to get into reservation mode, and by accident the shifter is placed in gear, there's no risk that you will either hit the wall, crush something in your garage if you try to remote start it there, which you should not do, or something even worse. So it is required. This is the safest manual transmission system on the market today because of this little gizmo here, the FTDAS, which will prevent the car or stop the car if it detects movement. So extremely, extremely handy little device here. So let's go back to the PowerPoint, and I will show you a couple of other features. Here, I won't spend too much time on this, but just to show you guys, if you've known the 7200 Brain in the past, well, this is a direct comparison that you would get between the Cmx, which is now replacing that Brain, through the 7000 or 7200 Brain. It is faster, bigger processor, more memory, less current draw, standing current draw. This is a very important feature, guys. This standing just connected to your car will draw 6 milliamps. This is very important, as most of the newer cars out there, they have very, very tiny batteries. And if you add electronics to the car, because it had a little bit more current draw, sometimes it might make the battery not last too long. This is extremely good at 6 milliamp. As we mentioned, it has 3 UART port that you can do if you wanted to. You can do this with your blade, and ALC on top of it if you do have a solution or a vehicle that requires more than one interface. So size-wise, a lot smaller, extremely versatile. If I'm not mistaken, this one has 9 programmable output channels, so a lot more than the CM900. Very, very good platform, works extremely, extremely well. Now, we have talked about the FTDAS. Let's take a look at the device itself. So we got the Brain here. You guys remember the blade? Let's remove my pen from there. This is our friend, the FTDAS. Size-wise, if we put it next to the blade, it's a little bit smaller than the blade, maybe double the thickness of a blade, and it is super easy. The box that it comes with looks very nice. You get everything that you need inside of it. Well, it doesn't want to come out and play with us, but there is a harness somewhere in there. So that's the connector that goes from here to your remote starter right there. It does come with some 2 zip ties for you to attach it using the mounting ears that's here. Or if you want, there's some double-sided tape to the back. You just stick it somewhere and away you go. So as I mentioned, this is the accessory called the FTDAS, and is 100% required when you do a manual transmission. If you want to get a little bit more information, here is the slide. 100% required when you do manual transmission. This little gizmo will do a little bit more than a accelerometer or a motion sensor. It is a 4-in-1 system, meaning that it will give you a dual stage shock sensor. So if you have a light impact on your car, it's going to give an audible warning to whatever's happening out there. And if somebody hits it very hard, it's going to trigger the alarm. So you do have your dual stage shock sensor. It also has built into that same little tiny package a glass break sensor, which works by sound. When glass breaks, it makes a very specific sound. This is able to detect it. So if a window is broken, this will pick it up and it will trigger the alarm. It is also a tilt sensor, meaning that if it's installed in the car, when your car is armed, if it detects that somebody is towing your car, jacking your car, or that the car is moving more than a certain amount of degrees, it will trip the alarm. Remember earlier on, I said that your customer might have heard on the news that there's a big trend of stealing catalytic converter or wheels or mags or stuff like that, and he's nervous about this. This is the best accessory, as it does give you a tilt sensor. So if somebody tries to tow the car or jack it up, the alarm will trigger and your customer will be notified. So it is very handy to have. And as I mentioned before, it also does have the accelerometer built in for those manual transmission cars. So if it detects that the car is moving, it's going to trip. So it is super easy to use. You can't really see on the sample that I have in my hand, but right behind my big head there, you probably see some LED and a number. So with this, you are able to adjust the sensitivity of each and every aspect of all the 4-in-1 sensor that's built in. So you can adjust independently the shock sensor, both warn away and full trigger, and then you can adjust the tilt sensor and all that stuff. So it is extremely easy to use. It is super simple to install. Like I said, zip tie or use a double-sided sticky tape to stick it somewhere and away you go. So nothing complex to this, but it's a fantastic option when you have security. Now, we've mentioned security, so we do offer a kit called the FT Alarm It Kit. This kit comes with everything that you will require to add a security feature to your PRS 17. So what does it look like? Let me show you. This is the Alarm It Kit. Very nice packaging. Let's see what's inside. Sorry, this is not going to be elegant, but nothing there here. So first thing that I see here is we have a Siren. This is a Siren that will give you 105 dB, plenty of length on the wire for you to pass it through the firewall. It's not a super big Siren. So just to give you guys a comparison, this is my mouse. So it's a lot smaller than the mouse. So it will be easy to hide in the engine compartment or wherever you choose to install this. This is a very good Siren. It also comes with our start-to-kill relay. If you want to add start-to-kill to your customer's vehicle, it comes with it. It comes with some wiring here. It will come with some a little plug-in LED. So whenever your system is armed, this will blink. So this is a nice added little touch to your security system. And of course, part of the kit is our FTDAS because it's a 4-in-1 sensor. So whenever you do security, this will give you shock sensor, glass break, tilt, and accelerometer all in one. So this kit is complete. So if you wanted to do an alarm starter combo for your customer, you would pair your Cmx with the Alarm It Kit. And if you need an interface, and away you go. And you can always upgrade later if the customer doesn't want the security kit right away. You can upgrade later. It is a standard 12-volt output to power the Siren. If you already have a Siren, please use it. This is just a regular Siren. And you can just, if you want, just go with the FTDAS and also connect just the horn if you don't want to do it a Siren. So this is extremely versatile, very easy to do. It's packaged together, so it's very convenient for you guys. So you don't have to hunt for parts in order to be able to talk about or sell that alarm upgrade feature. All right. This is pretty much what I had for Polarstart. So we do offer two different SKUs, the PRS13X, which is automatic transmission only. It does come with two one-way AM transmitters that will give you up to 1,500 feet of range. And if you want a little bit better range and manual transmission compatibility, then you will need to upgrade to the PRS17, which comes with a different brain, which is the Cmx, and also comes with two FM 3,000 foot range transmitter and the antenna. So super easy install, super durable. Both of these kits will require an external interface, but if you pair it with a blade, it makes the installation easy. And I love the linear way that they're designed, like all the harnessing comes out of the same side of the brain. So it makes a very clean prep job before you go inside the vehicle to install the product. So I am almost done with this. I think we are ready to move on and now talk about the second part of the show called Smart Control. So Ben, before I move on and start about the other stuff, anything interesting that you saw with the Polarstart? Any questions you want to ask? Or
Well, I mean, questions is really hard with you, Phil, because you kind of cover everything. And the reason I say that is because whatever I think about and I write down, you already addressed it because you were an installer yourself. And I think
I still am an installer.
And you still continue to be an installer.
Yes, sir, I do.
The two things, there are two things I do want to mention about the Polarstart. So number one, the flexibility. I think that's very important to highlight because if there's a lot of options out there. This keeps it simple, where from an inventory standpoint for a dealer, it keeps it very simple. I like being, well, the problem is my comment is inclusive of what you're about to cover. So I'm going to hold off that comment. Okay. The other part I wanted to talk about was, it's using proven technology here, between the blade and, all that stuff. You don't have to break your head, like we say in French, on any of this. The tech support is there in leaps and bounds. And, when Phil Camirand says that this is proven and bulletproof, I believe him.
You know what? Anybody that talks about electronics will always say that their product is bulletproof and it's time proven, blah, blah, blah. Don't take my word. Talk to anybody within the industry that's dealt with Polarstart or CompuStar and ask them what they think about it. They will 99.9% of the time love the product. It's bulletproof. It's time proven. It's an amazing company. They have great tech support. And just so you guys know, us at Automobility, we have 5 full-time guys for tech support, and we speak the French. So if you need some help in French, we are here for you.
Covered. And is this the highest end system that's available in the market? No, it is not. But and a lot of people qualify that not by features but by remote, I suppose. I did want to bring that up.
To be honest, the PR17, those remotes, they look super good. They remind me of an OEM grade remote, like something that would come with your BMW, like fancy. And they're so durable. They're water resistant. I want to say crush proof, but don't quote me on this. But they're extremely, extremely, extremely tough. I love the PR17 remotes. And the range is amazing and extremely consistent.
Consistent is the key word there. Okay. My other questions, Phil, I'm going to reserve because really it's about what you're about to present and how they come together. So I'm going to let you go with that. Let's get on.
All right. Perfect. So the next portion of this presentation is about smart control. So if you're not familiar with smart control, you probably have a bunch of questions. So let me switch to my PowerPoint, and we will answer those questions before they even ask. So what is a smart control? So usually people are like, I don't know what smart control and why do I need it? Well, it is something that, in my opinion, is extremely important. Why? I'm going to go through a couple of slides and then I'm going to come back to this question, why do you need it? So let's first explain what it is and then we'll get back to this. So smart control is a universal control solution for remote starter. It is an add-on that you can pair with the remote starter to control it. Some of its features will always will be, pardon my little hiccup here. I was thinking in French and translating and it didn't come out very good, so let me repeat that. One of the key features of smart control is that the control option will always be two-way and we'll be using LoRa technology with over 1.5 miles of range. So if you're thinking smart control, two-way communication over 1.5 miles of range. Smart control is also very different than your typical two-way transmitter kit. It is that it also includes Bluetooth capabilities, which will allow your customers to be able to use their smartphone to control their vehicle, to control the remote starter without any fees associated with this. Most of the time, when you are using an app-based system, there are some monthly fees or yearly fees associated with this. With Smart Control, we offer an app and will always be 100% free. If you guys followed the previous presentation that we did on My Car and My Start, Smart Control is very similar in the app way, as you can personalize the app, which we will cover in a slide, and you can also brand the app to your specific store if you wanted to. So we talked about universal. This is a key point about this product. It is cross-platform compatible. So this is an RF kit that will work with pretty much all of the major players as far as remote starter that are on the market today. So if you're doing an iData Start, you can use it. Obviously, you can do Polarstart. Obviously, you can do CompuStar. You can do the directed product, FlashLogic, Prestige, Pursuit, Code, Omega. You can do, pardon my French here, a shit ton of different manufacturers out there. If you're not sure if the manufacturer that you have is compatible, I do offer a compatibility chart. You can go on the website at www.mysmartcontrol.com and you'll be able to see the install document and the chart of every model it is compatible with, along with the features that it will support in that connection. So this is very important to talk about here, cross compatibility. Other cool feature about this, we've mentioned it, it is always two-way communication and always LoRa communication, which will offer you over 1.5 miles of range. So if you need something two-way with great range, this is for you. So we do offer two different types of kit, two remotes, as you guys can see right above my head here. We'll cover them in a slide or two, but keep that in mind. We talked about the application. We know that it is an app-based system. It is using Bluetooth. It will allow you to control your remote starter system from your smartphone. As you guys can see behind me, the app looks very similar to the My Start and My Car. We are using the same backend. It is a separate application. When you download it, you have to search for the Smart Control application, and it will allow you to control the vehicle, meaning you'll be able to start, stop, lock, unlock, pop open the trunk or open the hatch, and you'll be able to control your auxiliary output. And at the same time, you'll be able to see some of the status on your car. What's the voltage level on your battery? So if you're not sure because you work from home now and you don't drive your car every day and you need to remind yourself to either go for a drive or start it to charge a battery, you can use this app to see the voltage level of the battery. You will also be able to see temperature which is very nice. And you'll be able to see runtime. So you know if the car is remote started, how much time do you have left? Do you have time for a second or third or fourth cup of coffee before you get to the car? So you'll be able to view all of that within your phone or your on the app. We mentioned before that you can personalize the app. Right behind me, this is the default setting for the app. As you guys can see, there's no clear pictogram for the vehicle that is being used, so that your customer, the user, can personalize this to match whatever car he is driving. So if the customer is driving brand XYZ, that year, that color, that trim level, you can update the image displayed in the app anytime you want, as many times as you want, to make it reflect what you are driving. Give you an example here. If I'm driving a Mitsubishi, I do believe that's an RVR, you can change this and change the color. It's a very easy process. It's a nice touch. The customer will feel that it represents what he's driving. Earlier on, we mentioned also that you can brand this app. Now, if you've missed our previous show, the one about my branded app, where we showed you how you as a retailer could have your own personalized app that represent your brand and your store, this is no different. You can brand this to your particular needs, to your store. So you can set yourself apart from the competition that just sells an app that looks like everybody else that sells this app. You can have your own personalized branded app. A good example, me for my fictitious shop, it's called Feltastic Car Audio. I have my own app. And as you can see on the top, I changed my logo, very nice looking logo. And I was also able to change the background image so it's a little bit different than what you see right here and what you see over there. So I have something that looks very, very different. And if we go at the bottom of the screen, right underneath the lock and unlock button, if you guys can see, there's a little like triangle that's there, a little arrow. If you click on that, you will see a button that will say My Retailer. And when your customer will click on that, it will give your business information. So your store address, your hours of operation, your email, your phone number, your Facebook, your Instagram, and your website. So if in a year or two, your customer is looking to get more product for their car, they don't remember where they purchased it, they have this in their phone. As Ben mentioned earlier on, nowadays, you cannot live without your smartphone. And this is typically true. If you have any small children or teenagers, they can leave without their wallet. They don't care. But if they don't have their smartphone, oh my God, it's the end of the world. So yes, you'll get all that information being displayed there all the time. All right. How does it work? As you guys can see, I have another example on this side there that shows a different brand. This is the Automobility Distribution app that I've created in 3 minutes. So it's available. If you want more information on how to get your own branded app, it's very easy. Talk with your automobility representative. He will explain to you the process. It's very, very simple. You don't need to be a computer genius to make it work. If you find it challenging and you have a kid under the age of 10, ask him to do it. I'll be done within 5 minutes. Super, super easy. So how does it work? Before we get there, I want to talk about that point earlier on as to why do you need this? Why should you bother using Smart Control on top of your existing remote starter brand? I'm going to talk to store owners on behalf of us technicians. Most of the technicians out there are the word I'm going to use is efficient, but the word I'm thinking about is maybe a little bit lazy. We don't particularly like change. So if we have to support a couple different brands of remote starter because the customer chose a different remote, we might not be very happy. Why? Because it's different. We don't like change very much. The beauty about Smart Control, because it's cross-platform compatible, is it will allow you to offer your customer a different looking transmitter while still maintaining the same back end, the same remote starter brain that you're using, the same T-harness installation that you are used to, the same flashing method, the same color code. So nothing changes for your tech, your installers. The only thing that's different is that the different antenna to install in the windshield, and they need to learn it. That's it. So store owners, if you're looking for something different to offer your customers, Smart Control is there for you. And especially if you offer a in-store brand and you do a dealership service where you have a guy that goes to the local dealership to do the remote starter install, you might want to offer something that's different. So this will make it easy for you guys to stock everything that you need because it's the same brand of remote starter. The only thing that's different is your transmitter. So you just have to change it. Another point that was mentioned to me a little while ago is that a lot of stores, they keep Smart Control, and whenever a customer comes in their shop looking for a spare transmitter for a product that they purchased somewhere else and it's broken, they very often don't carry that brand. So they say, let me see if this remote would work on this. They go on the website. If it's a brain that's compatible, you can offer that new customer the opportunity to change and upgrade their remote with something that looks very good, has great range, and you are making new customers that way. Hope that makes sense. If not, well, I can elaborate a little bit longer, but let's move on here on to how it works. If you guys remember before, we mentioned that the Smart Control is always two-way, right? I don't need to explain how a two-way system works. So you send the command to the car executes the command, sends the confirmation back to your transmitter. Transmitter will beep and flash the LED to confirm that what you asked was done. LoRa is always two-way and will always give you over 1.5 miles of range. So very good range. Where it comes very interesting is when we add the Bluetooth capability to this. We have one specific transmitter that is equipped with a Bluetooth transceiver and also an RF transceiver, which will allow you to make everything work together. Now, this is how it would work. First, you will need to have all three components within communication range, meaning that your vehicle and your remote need to be no farther away than the covered range. So if the vehicle is in range of the remote, you're good. Then you will need to be in range of Bluetooth from your remote with your smartphone. So if you carry your remote with you and you have your smartphone with you, you should be good. So the way it works is that part of that specific transmitter, and yes, this is a transmitter that you guys see in the middle. We'll talk about it a little bit later on. It is equipped to with both a Bluetooth transceiver and an RF capability. So this will act as a bridge in between the car and the app. So whenever you or your customer is using the app to send a command to the car, it will talk Bluetooth to the remote. The remote will then transfer the information via RF to the car. The car will execute the command, send the confirmation to the remote. The remote will transfer that to Bluetooth and will give you command confirmation directly on your application in your smartphone. Does that sound good? The system will also give you the ability to connect directly with the antenna of the car without that remote, but this will require that you are within the Bluetooth range. So this is good for a customer that says he's always parked next to the house. He doesn't need more range than 150 feet, 45 meters of range. Or somebody that likes to go for walks in the park and doesn't want to carry his wallet and everything with them, because obviously we don't need a wallet no more. We need a smartphone because without it, we die. So just leave with your smartphone. You will connect to the antenna and you can control it, and it's free. So you get good Bluetooth range and you can control it. And the way you know if you're connected to the car is if you look at the app, as you guys can see here, you will see that the picture shown is the antenna of the vehicle. So that means that you are connected to the antenna. If the picture that's shown is the remote, it means you're connected to the remote. All right, the next slide is the control options. But before we go to the control option, I'm going to show you guys a little demonstration so you guys can see the speed of everything on how this works. So let me just move on here. I got my smartphone. I'm going to hide all the text message that I got. I got my smartphone application here. I got my wallet. This is like a regular wallet. I'm keeping my, oh, would you look at that? My remote within my wallet. I'll give you guys more detail about this remote, but this stays in my wallet. I'm going to use the app, and my car is parked somewhere outside. So I'll show you guys how fast this all is. So I'm going to press lock. And we got confirmation. Everything is done. Isn't that great? If I do unlock, the door's unlocked. Just to give you an audible, I'm going to turn the volume on. Let's make sure I don't forget it so nobody calls me live. And so if I go lock, if I go unlock, this is all Bluetooth to this, RF to the car, and then back. It is extremely fast, operates very good. I can see here that the battery level in my car is at 13 volts, so it's super easy to use. And the pictogram here shows that we are connected to the remote. This is the default application that I'm using for this car. If I wanted to show you guys an example of a branded app, let me just go back here. This was the My Retailer button I was telling you guys about. Let me enter the retailer information here, which is me. And right away, you see that my retailer information has been populated. And with this specific install, I did not change the app, but I have all my information that's listed there. So this is super easy, super fast. You guys see it's almost instant. And this little remote, you can also use standalone. You see a button here. So we got confirmation. We got unlock. If I press lock here, still the same thing. It allows me to lock and control it from my smartphone. And this always stays in my wallet and keep it in my pocket. Doesn't take too much space. This is what we call the credit card style remote. It's about the thickness of 3 credit cards, depending on how much money you got on those credit cards. Fat Joe. So super easy. You can keep it in your wallet, in your purse, in your pocket, in your backpack, wherever you want to keep it. It is super, super, super easy. So let's talk about control option. As I mentioned earlier, Smart Control will offer you 2 different types of remotes, one which we already saw, and we also offer you a traditional looking remote. And this is a 5-button remote. Has a very nice feel and touch in your hand. The base, as you can see, is metal. Let me show you. And it looks like I froze again. There we go. So this is the transmitter. It's very nice look and feel. Good plastic. Buttons are rubberized. Lock, unlock, start, stop, pop your trunk. The 5th button is here on the side. The base of this is metal, so it's extremely durable and tough. This is close to OEM grade that you will see, and it is a 2-way LED. So if I press lock, I'm going to hear confirmation. Let me just bring it a little bit higher. So lock, unlock. As you guys can see, it is extremely fast. So very nice looking remote, very durable, fits nice in your hand. It's very solid, very rugged, metal base, something that looks like an OEM type of remote. So it will allow you to offer this to your customer if you do service some dealership. All right, so let's go back to the presentation here. So this kit called the RFK 2000 comes with one transmitter, the antenna and the antenna cable. And let me just show you what the antenna looks like. So this is what the kit looks like. This is the box. You got your antenna cable. You got your antenna. We got a remote. And because this is cross-platform compatible, part of the kit will be this guy here, where you plug in your antenna here, and we'll offer you different type of connectors for you to connect it to all the supported Brain or remote starter. So depending on what you are using it with it, just plug it in and it should work as long as it's listed in the install guide that's compatible. And if we want the install guide, they got very, very smart with this one. So this is the user guide and this is the install guide. Yep. Scan the QR and get the information. So super, super easy. So antenna, very nice form factor. We have built-in LEDs here, programming button, super easy. Oh, and did I mention that every smart control kit comes pre-programmed? So whenever you get it out of the box, the remotes are pre-programmed to the antenna. And whenever you pair this to your remote start, you learn the remotes on the antenna and not the Brain. So super easy. So this first kit is the RFK 2000, comes with one transmitter. If you're looking for something that has more than one transmitter, we do offer another kit called the RFK 2002. The only difference, instead of only offering one transmitter, we'll offer you two transmitters in the same kit. Next kit we saw a little bit earlier on, it's called the RFK 6000. The RFK 6000 is completely different than anything else you saw because the remote is a credit card style remote. So it is meant for people who do not want to add extra stuff on their keychain and want to be able to use the Bluetooth capabilities. Very important to know is that if you are using the RFK 6000, you will be able to pair your phone to the remote, and then the remote can talk to the car, what we displayed earlier. If you are using the RFK 2000, you can only pair the app or the phone to the antenna directly, meaning that you'll be limited with the range of the antenna to the phone. But the RFK 6000, because this credit card style remote has both Bluetooth and RF transceiver, you'll be able to use the full system. So let me show you what it looks like. If I can make it work. There we go. So this is the box, smart control, RFK 6000. If we open it, same as before, it comes with the antenna cable. It comes with a little adapter, as I call it, the octopus, that makes it compatible with all the different brands of remote start. It will come with one antenna and your credit card transmitter. Now, if you are going to sell this to your customer, whenever you get it, while you're installing the product, plug this in to charge it. This is a rechargeable battery that's built in. They do ship with charge in it, but depending on how long it's been sitting there, the charge might not be ideal. So charge it while you do the installation. One charge should last you up to 45 days. So it is very good battery. So this kit, RFK 6000, one credit card remote, the antenna, the little octopus, and the antenna cable. All right, so if we move on now, one cool feature that we added to this, and this, I like to think it's because of me, we added the Find Me feature. What does that mean? It means that you can use your smartphone to trigger a chime on that credit card remote, because if it's in your wallet and you lost your wallet, like some people here, and you don't remember where you put it, you can use that feature and trigger it. How do you have access to it? You will click, yes, I just talked about it. You will click right here next to the little battery, and you will click the button that will show Find Me. And if you guys notice in the app, there's a little battery indicator. That's the little green thing that you guys see. This will show you the status of the battery inside your credit card remote. so you will know if you need to charge it or not. So very different, no monthly fee, great range, two-way and app. So you get the best of both worlds with this system. I am using this every day. I love it. But if you guys remember, this is my keychain. This is my wallet. I'm using both at the same time, which means that, yes, we also offer a kit that will give you both. We'll cover that in one slide. So the credit card remote that you guys see here, we do have a button if you want to use it as a remote. One click will lock, double click will unlock, press and hold for more than 3 seconds will start, and then 5 will stop. We have a micro USB port on it to charge it. It should last you up to 45 days of battery charge, so it is pretty good. Works very, very good. Like I mentioned before, if you want best of both worlds, you can order this kit, the RFK 2000 TX BLCC, which consists of the RFK 6000 with the addition of that 5-button transmitter. That's just a traditional remote, so you'll get two-way, but there's no built-in Bluetooth on that 5-button remote. As usual, you can buy all of these parts separately. So if your customer buys a RFK 2000 or 2002 and he wants to add the credit card remote, you can buy it separately, or vice versa. The antenna is also sold separately. And we also sell separately a charge cable. If you don't already have 500 gazillions at home with all the electronics that needs to be charged, the octopus or the little pigtail adapter is also available separately, and so is the antenna cable. So this is so this is pretty much all I had to talk about with Polarstart and Smart Control. Hopefully I was able to give you guys more options that you can offer your customers out there, and for the customers watching, this is a pretty good option. It's amazing, works very, very good. It's very durable transmitter, this 5-button transmitter. So Ben, what did you think about this? Anything you want to add to this?
I definitely have some questions for you. I've been saving these, and watching that presentation again. Here's what I want to know.
Yes.
We're going back to the Polarstart product. Is that unit available without remotes?
Yes, we do sell the Brain separately as well. So you can order the CM900 module and also the CMX module separately. So if, let's say, usually people say, I love Polar, but I want two-way. You don't offer any two-way. Like we do with Smart Control. Right. So you can order the CMX separately and do the Smart Control and pair it together.
The reason I ask, the customer doesn't want to double pay, right? They don't want to pay for a kit that comes with 2 remotes, only to not use those remotes. You know what I mean? So it's nice to know the option. It's almost like it's, a la carte, I think was the word I was looking for, especially with the Smart Control unit.
You can use it like that. It's actually why it was made like this. So it gives you option.
So, and just to clarify, to take advantage of LoRa feature, which is the 1.5 mile range, you have to have a credit card. Is that right?
The LoRa is the RF portion. So LoRa is in both this and so the RF portion is in both the credit card and the regular remote. Right. So regardless of which one you use, you will always get two-way LoRa with over 1.5 mile range. So both of these are connected to my car. So if I press lock,
either way,
and if I press lock here, it will lock.
And
the only thing that differs between those two remotes is that this one, there's no Bluetooth in it. This one has Bluetooth. So you can keep this in your wallet and just use your smartphone to control it. So that's the big difference. As you can see, super easy wallet.
Okay. My next series of questions is more from a consumer standpoint.
Okay.
So I love the feature. I have Smart Control on my main car. Now I want to add it to my partner's car. Can I have different? So I guess it's 2 parts. A, can I have more than one vehicle on the same app? And can I add more users to that app?
You can have more than one vehicle to the same app. I do not believe you can share user. So I would have to get back to you on this, but I don't believe you can share the app with a different user. But you know what? Let's take a look. So I can have multiple cars, yes.
You could
And
absolutely have multiple cars, and you would select that from the beginning of your opening screen of the app.
But you cannot add another user to this. So the way Bluetooth works, your phone can only be paired to one Bluetooth for smart control at a time. So
okay. So in another situation, then let's say, so my partner could have their own smart control with their own app using their own Bluetooth with their vehicle. However, I would not be able to control it with my phone.
You could, yes.
I could control it with my phone?
Yes. The limitation is you cannot have one Bluetooth remote connected to two different vehicles. Let's say you have one installed in your car and you're using this. I could install the smart control app on my phone and connect to your antenna, because that would be the only Bluetooth smart control connection there. So I cannot connect to two different remotes like this and control it. Like me, I could not do it.
Understood. And my final point, absolutely, totally clear. My final point to this is, now that I understand why you've combined these two devices together, my recommendation from a dealer standpoint, man, show them the entire kit together first. That customer comes in, especially on a newer vehicle, they have, everybody's got a smartphone, as you say. It feels, 3 years ago, I might have said, not everybody, the phone. Man, everybody uses their phone from banking to dating. That is my latest line, and it is 100% true. So I feel like right now is the time where if customers going to come in, you're going to show them the whole package, and then again, top down selling, take it away, go back to basic remote. But anyways, and from an installer standpoint, I mean, it doesn't take the top technician in the shop to put that in, right?
Anybody can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Like any technician out there can do it.
Listen, Phil, if anybody's interested in Polarstart products, go ahead and check out this website, Polarstart.com. That's the website you want to go to check it out. And of course, if you're interested in becoming a dealer and want to get you on some goodies in your shop, check out automob.ca for automobility. They are the exclusive distributor for Polarstart as well as Smart Control. Mr. Phil, always a pleasure, always professional, very insightful, and thank you so much for putting the effort you did into this presentation.
Thank you for your time. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. If not, well, I'll do better next time.
Really enjoyed it. It was a great job. Thank you, Phil.
All
right. We are still deep in the jungle when it comes to remote start, telematics, security, and I want to encourage you to stay with us right through till September 15th, where we are covering every brand in remote start and telematics right through till September 15th, one brand per day. Now, we have a great contest going on, lots of time to register, but go and check it out, cmanetworks.com/giveaway to enter a chance to win the Ultimate Fab Experience giveaway. We're partnered up with Master Tech Expo going down in Arizona next spring in March of 2023. Along with 5 Axis Innovations and SiriusXM, we're drawing one winner from the US, one winner from Canada. We're sending you there. Flights, hotels, courses. It's going to be an amazing experience. cmanetworks.com/giveaway to sign up. And while you're there, please check out all our other videos. If you're interested in Remote Start, go ahead and click on Remote Start under category, and you'll find a wealth of knowledge on cmanetworks.com. Thanks for tuning in to this CMA Connected presented by SiriusXM. Hope you have a good weekend. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about
Stop it.
Today when we go
Yo,
topics.
roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?